I want to spend a moment talking about the DMK Congress seat sharing talks where things seem to have reached a stalemate. The Congress is being offered up to 20 seats. The Congress contested on 40 seats the last time, and the DMK is refusing to budge, not wanting to give any more than 20 seats. The one twist in the tale could be now that Sasikala is pulled out, and if the AMMK and the AIDMK have some kind of an alliance, will the DMK be forced to loosen its offer and be more accommodative towards the Congress party? Here's the story.
They're all smiles here, but there's trouble brewing in the big Tamil Nadu alliance. With just days to go before Tamil Nadu's state of war begins, the two old allies have hit an angry stalemate over their seat-sharing formula. Here's the crux of the deadlock. The DMK is willing to give the Congress only 22 seats to fight from. A furious Congress has laughed at the offer, saying that in the last election the Congress had fought from 41 seats. Sources say discussions have deteriorated into an ill-tempered impasse.
The seat sharing is always a give and take issue, and there are only 234 seats, so parties have their own expectations, and negotiations are going on, and let's see how it pans out.
Mr. Karthi Chidambaram is not leading the alliance talks. Mr. K.S. Alagiri is leading the alliance talks.
The Congress, meanwhile, has played down the deadlock and said that discussions are still very much on.
It has not yet become stalemate. It is still alive. Okay. And the differences will be sorted out. The ground reality is it is good for the alliance of the DMK and Congress. Maybe that, the differences, if any, may be sorted out.
Unlike the DMK Congress deadlock on seat sharing, discussions between the ruling AIA-DMK and its ally, the BJP, have been moving smoothly and are expected to seal the deal at any time. So why is DMK boss Stalin so wary of giving the Congress a bigger share? For starters, the DMK clearly wants to minimize the Congress's influence on the final tally, possibly after witnessing its effect on results in Bihar and elsewhere. Secondly, Stalin is clearly skeptical of Rahul Gandhi's political influence, despite once proposing him as Prime Minister. The DMK is clearly asserting itself to a weakened Congress. Stalin may be worried the Congress will drag it down. And finally, the DMK is even more risk-averse after Sasikala's move to unite Amma cadres against the DMK. With high-stakes discussions stretching on without a breakthrough, there's added pressure now after the DMK has sealed seat sharing with the Vidudalai Chirutaigal Katchi, giving them 6 seats. And there are only two big questions now.
Will the continuing deadlock between DMK and Congress provide an advantage to AIADMK in the run-up for nominations? Also, will it cause a speed bump in DMK's mission to derail AIADMK, which has been in power for nearly a decade now? With camera person Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
What I want to do now is play out excerpts from my interview with political strategist Prashant Kishore, who's leading the DMK's strategy for this election. He's been splitting his time between Bengal and Tamil Nadu. I spoke to him at length about the seat-sharing talks currently on with the Congress, about how the DMK viewed this election and just how it was to work with Stalin in comparison with, say, someone like Narendra Modi and Nitish Kumar, Captain Amrinder Singh or Mamata Banerjee. Here is PK. Since you work both with Mr. Stalin and Didi at this time, I want you to compare the two. Give us your sense of working with Mr. Stalin. You don't speak Tamil.
I don't.
He understands English, doesn't speak it very well, likes to speak through a translator. How has it been working?
See, language is a bigger challenge in Tamil Nadu versus West Bengal, where I'm able to converse in Bengali. Though I don't speak Bengali, but I understand Bengali, and all meetings I'm able to do in Bengali. Tamil Nadu is much more difficult because I don't understand Tamil, but you have to fight with what you have, and we know we have gone there knowing that the language will be a constraint. It's like you are a player all your life, you have played spin, you go to Australia, you have to play on a fast pitch, you have to prove your mettle there.
So how has it been like working?
It's difficult, but again, I have colleagues, all my colleagues are Tamilians. In Tamil Nadu, the IPAC is made up of all but people from Tamil Nadu. So they are there to help.
Except your top brass.
Not even top brass, like 2 or 3 people who might be there who are not Tamilians, but 99% people are
So
Tamilians.
how does Stalin, in your view, compare with Nitish Kumar, Amrinder Singh?
See, it's very difficult to compare the leaders.
And their styles, their
couple of
personality.
things. See, he's yet to become a chief minister. He has not become chief minister. So people have to, he still has to win that and be there and then be judged. One good thing which I would give to Mr. Stalin is that he has spent probably the longest time in public life being son of a chief minister before he has taken over the party. It's sometimes, it's mind-blowing to me. The 40 years he has played this person in waiting, learning, going through the grind. Usually you see son or daughters of the politicians, they come by the 30, 35, they think that they know everything. So we must give credit where it is due. Even though he is, by technically speaking, a dynast because his father was the chief minister, 45 years in public life before he has actually put himself in a position where he's leading TMK. So that's his strength. That tells me that guy has been patient, that guy has been disciplined, and he was willing to learn and go through the grind, which are very rare traits to have in today's...
But to flip that argument, there are some inside the DMK and many outside who wonder whether he has what it takes to take the DMK to power without the absence of his towering father.
But this is where, as a society, we have to be a little bit more sensitive. When someone comes, just by virtue of being someone's son or daughter, we crib. But if someone has spent 20, 30, 40 years going through the grind, then we are saying he's not charismatic enough. If you leave it to me, if left to me, I would pick a guy who has spent 20, 30 years going through the grind rather than someone who has just come by virtue of being someone's son or daughter. So I have great respect for Mr. Stalin for that reason at least.
So will there finally be some kind of a resolution, Mr. Saravanan? Or is the DMK Congress alliance now heading for rupture? Or are you now under more pressure because Sasikala seems to have pulled out and there could be a AMMK, AIDMK truce?
Yeah, Rahul, the alliance what we have with Congress and the others is an ideological alliance. We have been allies for the last 4 years, and we have fought all these issues on a common platform against BJP, against the ADMK, protecting the welfare of the people of Tamil Nadu, and we have been successful. We have been able to ensure that the policies of the BJP or the ADMK government has been reversed. We have forced the ADMK government to act. And I don't think this ideological alliance is going to be in trouble over a few seats. And in 2019, our leader, Mr. M.K. Stalin, was the first one in the country to endorse Mr. Rahul Gandhi as the prime ministerial candidate. And the people of Tamil Nadu said thumbs up. They said, yes, we accept your endorsement, and gave us 39 seats. And now it is the turn of our leader, Mr. M.K. Stalin. He is projected as the chief ministerial candidate, and everybody else has projected him as that, endorsed his candidature. So there will be adjustments.
Okay, Sudhir, give us your sense of what's happening behind the scenes. Will there finally be resolution, or is there a possibility of rupture?
Well, I don't think the DMK and the Congress can fight the elections separately, because the DMK does realize that there is a sizable Congress vote in every constituency, every district of Tamil Nadu. But having said that, they are obviously wiser from the experience of Bihar and also of Tamil Nadu in 2016, when they contested 41 and won only 8 seats. So in that sense, the strike rate of the Congress was not good enough. But the entire blame cannot be laid only at the Congress door, because while the fact remains that while the Congress vote does transfer considerably significantly to the DMK candidates, it does not happen the same way from the DMK to the Congress. And the reason for that is that in many constituencies which have been nurtured by a DMK leader, he or she would not want suddenly that seat to be given away to the Congress candidate, because that would mean, and if the Congress candidate wins, it would mean that the DMK leader in that particular constituency will have to wait another 5 years. So that becomes a tricky problem at the very local constituency level, and that is something which the DMK Congress alliance will have to address when the seat sharing talks are done.
Okay, so this is where I wrap up this part of the news track. As I said, I want to thank our guests, and we'll be in Chennai Friday, Saturday for the big India Today South Conclave. I want to give you a quick sneak peek of the kind of heavyweight political lineup we have at this year's India Today South Conclave. If you follow elections in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, this is where you need to be. Your election destination is India Today and absolutely nothing else. Here's a sneak peek. Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.